All right, guys, let's make a pizza. You need your pizza paddle. You need your dough. This is a 72-hour fermented. Literally been in the fridge for like 3 days. Just yanked it out about an hour and a half ago. We want this thing to be room temperature. And we figure about an hour and a half for that. Usually works well. Give it a little test here. Feels great. Next thing I'm going to do is take my flour and flour a little work surface here. I use a combination of semolina and flour. I love the semolina texture on the bottom of my pie. At the same time, I'll just flour my pizza paddle and just dust it lightly. These act as like small ball bearings so that dough is not going to stick. Next, I'll just remove my dough here. I'm really just going to start pressing now. I want to coat both sides of this with the flour so it's not sticky. Put some more flour into here. And now literally I'm just going to press very lightly my hands. We want to try to keep these bubbles intact. When it gets to be about 5 or 6 inches in diameter, I'm going to pick it up, put it on the back of my knuckles, and stretch. And I'm going to stretch this using like kind of gravity as my guide. Just pressing out like a steering wheel. I'll turn. If you're wearing rings, take them off because you'll poke right through that dough. Next, I've got my peel already floured. This thing is going to shrink up a little bit on me. So I probably want a little bit larger. Put it right on my peel. Critical. This is a critical step. Before I do anything else, I'm going to take this dough. I got my ball bearings on this peel. I'm going to give it this little jimmy. See how it's moving? It's going to shrink a little bit. I can stretch it back out. I can kind of pinch it here in place. But to continue this jimmy motion, each step along the way. I'm going to put my sauce on. I'm going to give it a jimmy. My cheese, I'm going to give it a jimmy. That way I'm ensured when I go into that oven, that hot oven, that this thing's going to slide off, no problem. It's critical. All right, so critical moment. I got my dough on there, my bearings, it's loose. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to switch my oven to the broiler setting. I've had my steel inside the oven for about an hour preheating. I turned that on at the same time. I took my dough out. Now, I have about 3 or 4 minutes left before I launch onto my steel. Switch it to broil, so I have that hot heat coming down and really nailing that steel, getting it hotter than 500 degrees. We'll probably get up like closer to 700, and you can pimp out with one of these babies. IR gun, gangster, right? Boom. This will tell me the temperature of my steel, which I'm going to buzz in about 2 minutes. So let's sauce. And before I do anything else, guys, I'm going to do this again. I'm assured this dough is loose on here. I'm going to sauce this puppy up. Less is more on top. We can't go too heavy. You can see I don't have a lot of sauce on here. I'm getting close to the perimeter. I'm going to give it this jimmy motion again. Critical. See, it's starting to get a little bit less slack here. So I got to start working faster. Cheese, chunks of mozzarella. I'm really just tossing a few on here. Nice cold mozzarella. Basil. I like odd numbers. 2, 3. Now the launch. I'm going to open the oven up. I'm going to toss this part back to the steel and just do that jimmy motion slowly, not too steep. I want it to be slide off nice and evenly. Now for the launch. Open my oven up. These drawers slide out. I'm going to do the jimmy motion again, just like so. Boom. Close her up. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move it down to the bottom steel, switch the oven back to convection bake. And the idea is I've got all the color we want on top. When I move it to that bottom steel, we have a brand new, hot spot. And I'm not going to be too concerned about adding too much color back on top. 2 more minutes on the timer and we're done. So we're looking at about a 3.5 minute pizza on our steels. 2 steel method. Let's check it out. Here we go. There it is. Some more basil on top. A little olive oil. That's it, guys. A 3-minute pizza on your 2 steel method on a baking steel. Boom. What?